Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sherman School Auditorium. This meeting held in this Sherman School Auditorium is an open session of the Roselle Park Board of Education, held under the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, the Home News Tribune, the Borough Clerk, the school offices, and District Clerk. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
President Miller.
Here.
Vice President Salter. Here. Mr. Ballman.
Here.
Mr. Bruckner. Here. Mr. Dan. Mr. Gerken.
Here.
Mr. Harms. Mr. Nelson.
Here.
Mr. Viva. Here. We have a quorum.
Fantastic. Please stand for the flag. Flag salute. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see a packed gym tonight. We have a lot to celebrate. It's good to see the parents out, and especially it's good to see the students out. For the first part of our meeting, we have what's called public participation. That's when people come up and they talk about agenda items. That means things that are on this piece of paper that we have, and your parents might have as well. They're all numbered. So if anyone would like to come up and speak on an agenda item, please come up, state your name, your address, and what you'd like to speak on the agenda. Seeing that there is none, we're going to close that portion, and now we're going to go to committee reports. Does anyone have a committee report?
Yeah, I just have one.
Mr. Arms?
The facilities, up at the football field, the bathrooms, the men's room has a wall up now that was put up last week. It wasn't very nice before, although it's been like that for about 35 years, and I'm not sure why we didn't do something prior to just doing it last week. But as of right now, there's a wall up, so everything's all right up there now.
Thank you, Mr. Arms. Anyone else? Ms. Silver?
I'd just like to give a report on the Citizens Advisory Committee that we have, and also the Curriculum Committee. For the Citizens Advisory Committee, we found out that in the high school, there's going to be a World Language Honor students. They're going to be inducted on November 3rd. And there are 26 students, and 7 of them for their second year that will be inducted into the National Spanish Honor Society, and 17 students, 5 for the second year for French. Also at the high school, there's going to be a college and career fair at the high school tomorrow morning from 8:30 to 10:30, and there will be 100 colleges represented, 100 of them. So that's a really great thing that they're going to be able to bring in for the students to talk to. All of the schools this week are also involved in Respect Week activities. For the curriculum, I did have the opportunity to go to the middle school, and they had a STEM day, and it was really a great opportunity to see all the students working together. The entire 6th grade got together in the cafeteria, and they were building towers, and they had to use just the materials that they were provided, which was about 3 or 4 different kinds of pasta and marshmallows in a couple of different sizes. And the great thing about it was they had to actually make a design first on paper. And then after they did that, they had to realize they had an allowance of only $15. And each piece of their structure had a price that they had to put onto it. So you math students, it's a great thing to think about, because when I saw some of the designs that they had put on paper, it would have cost them well over $100 to actually construct what they had on paper. So they really had to think it through and make sure that they had the money to buy each piece that would construct the tower. So that's kind of an activity that you can look forward to in the middle school that they work on for this STEM program. Also, when they like if someone finished the tower early and they make sure it was all structurally sound, and they had a little time on their hands, they would give an index card. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't stay to see this, but they were supposed to manipulate the index cards in such a way that they could actually pile textbooks on top of it. So think about that. How would you take two index cards and put them together in a way that would actually support the weight of some textbooks? So just a lot of great things to think about and great things that they're doing in our schools. So I was really happy to have been able to see that. Hopefully somebody took a picture of the pile of the textbooks.
Thank you, Ms. Sokol. Did they eat the marshmallows? Great. Thank you. So, anyone else? Yeah, but I just echo this, Ms. Sokol, the boys and girls in that STEM program in the 6th grade, they came down from the high school to show you what's going on in our high school. And there's so much more going on in our school, like the robotics program, also the science program as well. So hopefully you'll be hearing even more about that later on in the school year as you get a little bit older at Sherman and in the school. So seeing there's no one else, we're going to close committee reports and we're going to go down to the superintendent's report where Mr. Garrido is going to tell you some really cool information.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, boys and girls. I have the pleasure this morning of actually being here and being in the lunchroom, and I'm very impressed with the behaviors of all the students from kindergarten through 5th grade. I walked around, I talked to some of the students, and I'll tell you, they were very responsible cleaning up. Their behavior was amazing for the lunchroom. So I want to begin by congratulating you students, Mrs. Christensen, for the behavior of the boys and girls in the lunchroom. It was a really very pleasant experience. And one of the best things was that everyone appeared very happy there. So I'm very happy to report it, and again, congratulate all the boys and girls that are here today and all of your classmates as well. As Ms. Sokol reported, the district is celebrating the Week of Respect and also Violence Awareness Prevention Week. There are several activities throughout the district, in each building, not only in the classrooms, but there have been some general assembly. I did visit the high school today as well, and all the entire staff were wearing green T-shirts that said, be an upstander. Which means that instead of being a bystander and allowing bullying and things that you see that are not right to go on, be an upstander, report it. And boys and girls, when we talk about bullying and you see things that are not going right around the building or the classroom or the lunchroom in particular, report it to a teacher, report it to Mrs. Christensen, and be an upstander too. And that's what we want you all to be, upstanders, not bystanders. So please continue to do the right thing and report when you see or feel something that is wrong. And that is my message as we celebrate respectfully. The media centers are ready and they're being utilized, and Mrs. Christian and I, after the meeting tonight, will be going over there. If anyone in the public or board would like to join us, you can see the laptops that are on in the computer books that are set up, and Mrs. Christensen can also explain to you a little bit of the schedule that goes on in that room. It is really a multi-purpose media center now. It's not just utilized for print, but it's also utilized for, it's a digital room, and the combination is what really we're very happy about. So please, if you want to stay up to the meeting, we'll go over for a little while, and we'll show you the media centers. I just wanted to comment. I know there's been a lot of talk around not only Roselle Park, but throughout the state about the Common Core standards and the PART testing. We have put up in our front page of the website a brochure and also additional sources of information for everyone to read. I believe that there's really a misconception out of what the Common Core is and what the PART test is, which is aligned, and as you know, the PART test now is all in computerized. But one thing that I am trying to arrange with the PTAs is to bring the New Jersey PTA Association. They are running parent informational meetings throughout the state to explain to the parents about the Common Core standards. Once again, every educational entity is supporting the Common Core standards because it promotes critical thinking, it promotes independence in the classroom, it promotes success in college and career readiness. So this is something that this year we're going to make a very strong effort to go out there and bring people in to inform the parents of what the Common Core standards are. And it's everything else has changed, everything else is new. There's always some hesitation, there's always some anxiety, but trust me that our staff, our administrators, and our teachers are working very hard with your children. Don't forget that the Common Core standards are just standards. The district decides on what is being taught. The materials that are being taught is selected by the district. So we have ownership of what the instruction is going to be like, as long as we meet the Common Core standards. So please look out for flyers that are going to go out, hopefully within the next month or so, about informational meetings. And please attend, because when you are an informed parent, you can be a much better partner in your child's education. So please become informed, become engaged, especially as we are transitioning, and we are transitioning in education every day. And it's really a challenging time, but in my opinion, it's going to be a very rewarding time for the children and their learning. So please continue to support the schools and come out and learn a little bit more. And please, if you have the opportunity, go on the website, front page. There are 3 sources of information right with links, right in the front page. Read about it. It's very basic and very informative also, so please do that. The last thing that I wanted to remind everyone, literacy is very important. It's the cornerstone of your child's learning. We're having a literacy night next Tuesday here at Sherman at 7 p.m. It is going to be presented by our reading specialists, our reading recovery teachers. So please join us, participate. Last year they really did a great job in, again, informing parents about strategies that they can use at home, strategies that we use here in school, and together we really can assist our students in reaching the goals that we really have, the expectations that we want them to reach. So thank you for coming out tonight. Congratulations, students. In a few minutes, we're going to be presenting you with some awards. And I know Mrs. Christensen is also waiting to give you some accolades as well. So thank you very much, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Ms. Carrillo. You guys are really good listeners. You're sitting in a good position. Congratulations. And now, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Christensen. You know her, don't you? Okay, absolutely. And she's going to give her report and tell us some really good news. Good evening, Mrs. Christensen.
Welcome everyone to Sherman School. And I also like to thank the board for recognizing some of the achievements of the students at Sherman School. Historically, Sherman School does very well, especially in the area of math, and that is shown by one measure, the NJS. Next year will be PARC. But just looking at the scores from last year, just continue to be very pleased with how our students are progressing, especially in the area of math and in science. Tonight, we'd like to recognize the students who have achieved a perfect score on an NJS in grades 3, 4, and 5 from last year. I'd ask Mr. Nelson to please come up. We're going to start with our last year's third grade, who are in fourth grade now. Perfect score of 300. Emma Gravani. You can stay on the black line, boys and girls.
Owen Miller.
Anthony Ponzio. Derek Winskowski. They must study together. Sarah Winskowski. Aiden Sikowski. And those are our third graders.
Could they stay up there for a...
Oh, sure.
Mr. Pearson, you want to take a general picture? With everyone sitting up there? Oh, wait.
Sure. Okay, last year's fourth grade class, this year's fifth grade class. Edward Kennedy. David Green. Jessica Lynn. Neil Mitra. Jacob Ortiz. Kaylee Ruiz. Sophia Villegas. I was very happy that our last year's fifth graders, who are now sixth graders, could come back and join us and we can celebrate their achievements. Sarah Gravani. Damien Chernikowski. Owen Herrera. And Sean Nichol. I present to you our 300 perfect scores.
Third grade, fourth grade.
Third graders, fourth graders now. school. I had two students who really stood out in their kindergarten class as being students of good character. I'd like to call up Logan Paskowitz, please. First week of school, we still had some kindergartners who were a little weepy, and I was having an assembly, and they were sitting on the floor. And one little boy who was sitting next to Logan was just, a little teary and a little weepy. And I looked over, and Logan was paying full attention to me, but rubbing his back. Next, I'd like to call up Logan Capola, please. Logan's one of our He loves giving compliments to his peers, and he goes out of his way to play with someone who he sees playing by themselves. I'd like to thank all of our parents for instilling those character traits. We just reinforce them here at Sherman School. We appreciate you instilling them. Thank you very much. Thank you to the board.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Christensen, and congratulations to the third, fourth, and former fifth grade students at Sherman School. You guys make us so proud, as you make your parents proud. Your hard work, your determination, and your performance. And it's great that you performed well on the test, but you know what? I bet you perform well every day on other things as well. Just like Logan, both of the Logans. You guys, you're setting a good example on how to treat others and be kind and be sensitive. So you're setting a really good example. It's a way to start off full day kindergarten. It's our first year we ever did it, and you guys are setting a great example. So thank you, Logans, and thank you, third, fourth, and fifth graders as well for setting up such a great example. We're very proud of you, and that's why you make Sherman School and Roselle Park School District a great place to learn, because you are our best salesmen and women, because you show the public what wonderful things we do academically and socially. We're smart and we care, so thank you. With that, I'm going to take a brief recess, so if you have homework to do or if you want to go home and just relax a little bit, go for it. So we're going to recess for a couple minutes. Okay, we're going to get started. We're going to continue and go into personnel. And I would like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 1 through 11. 1 being district substitutes, 2 being degree change, 3 being ECC director / literacy coach appointment, 4 being staff appointment, 5 being staff resignation, 6 being winter physical personnel, 7 being professional development preparation, 8 being leave of absence extension, 9 being maternity leave of absence extension, 10 being leave of absence request, and 11 being additional sections extension. And do I have a motion? Ms. Soaps and Mr. Burton, are there any questions or comments?
I'll make a comment, Mr. President, as it relates to number 3. To answer a question, that is a 10-month appointment. It's a position, it is a newly created position within the district. It has full responsibilities, and I believe we're approving the job description for that individual. It's under business, which is number 22, which is a newly defined position. It's a full, like I said, a full position within the district, and that new job description is being approved later in the agenda. So just want to make sure we're all clear there. 322
The other question I have is the literacy coach, is that the listed one?
is a district-wide position, it's a total position, ECC director, but also the literacy coach, part of it, portion of it is district-wide.
And what that means for literacy coaches, she'll be working with grades K through 8. And Dr. Hernandez would be working with the teachers as far as coaching them and working with them and just as far as their language arts and reading presentation to the children and instruction and working together as a resource. And I think it's great, especially with our literacy initiative. So we welcome Dr. Hernandez. Anyone else? Seeing that there is none, Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Vice President Sokol? Yes. Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Mr. Bruckenstein? Yes. Mr. Dan? Mr. Gerger?
Yes.
Mr. Harms?
Yes.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Vita?
Yes.
President Miller?
Yes.
On roll call, motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And now we're on to education, where I'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 12 through 15.
I'll approve agenda items 12 through 15, Mr.
Okay,
President.
just
With the exception of the number 13.
yeah, I'm getting that.
All right, so we'll look at it separately.
Yep.
So
Well,
12, 14, and 15.
okay, so one moment. We're looking to approve agenda items 12, 13, 14, 15, but we're going to table number 13. We're just tabling one part of the educational trip request, and that would be the Universal Studios Orlando, Florida trip. We are tabling that for the next meeting, but all other trips there we are going to vote on. So it would be 12. One moment, Ms. Brown, please. It would be 12 education program, 13 educational trip request, and tabling the aforementioned Universal Studios trip to Orlando, Florida, to the next meeting. 14 would be Title I parental involvement policies, and 15 would be harassment, intimidation, bullying incidents.
With the different numbers.
And the numbers would be, instead, in lieu of 14, the numbers are instead of 14001, be 14004, 14005, and 14006 in that order.
And that's under the harassment.
In number 15, correct. All right, do I
So
have a
I'll
motion?
move it as amended.
Mr. Bowman, second? Mr. Harms, any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you, Mr. Nelson. And now we're on to business. I would like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 16 through 22. 16 being monthly certification, 17 being approval of bills, 18 being September transfers, 19 being district contract, 20 being use of buildings and grounds, 21 being memorandum of agreement, and 22 being job description. Mr. Harms, second. Ms. Sokol, any questions or comments?
As it relates to number 19, those dates, are those not in service dates?
No, those are in service day for a particular group of teachers, not district-wide in service day. That's what you mean.
So, how big of a money?
An audience, it could be balanced literacy. I believe what they do is what they call fishbowl. So they travel, the trainer travels to the classroom. So they involve a grade level for an hour, 40 minutes. They go to the next grade level and so forth.
Okay. So we're not going to, the impact will be minimal.
It will be minimal.
From a substitute perspective.
Possibly just a handful of substitutes, yeah. And those substitutes will rotate to the classrooms. Yeah.
Involved.
No, right.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Those items are passed. And now we're on to continuing business. Mr. Rio?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. The district is aggressively, well, not aggressively, but it's very actively conducting residency verification for new students in kindergarten. We've had obviously an increase in the number of students, and so far there have been 2 buildings of 2 schools completed, and we have found 2 students at this point that are in the process of transferring or meeting with the parents regarding their residence because the verification did not match the people. So far, 2 students that we have found that did not live in the address that they provided for us. Thank you.
Mr. Green, are we going to, as we did in the past, each month put 0?
Yes, we'll begin that next month. Yes.
They sound like they're still here.
Yes, I will check with the main offices, see where we are. There are 2 buildings that we did find 2 students. It just came today, so I'm sure there'll be meetings with the parents and then the transfers will happen.
Remind me again, and I may have asked this at all. Maybe it was a we've been several years since we did it, so when do we anticipate as a district doing the audit?
We're anticipating, and again, we'll have to plan this, but possibly for this summer. Because I believe it's been more than 3 years. 5 years, this time.
It's been,
So we'll start preparing.
Close to that. So we're doing.
And now we're on to new business. Is there any new business to report? Seeing that there is none, we'll go to the second public participation portion of the meeting. If you have anything you'd like to speak on, please come forward. Say your name, address, and what you'd like to talk about.
Jacob Ferris, exposure in Roselle Park. Ladies and gentlemen, the audience, viewing audience, members of the board, Mr. Miller, Rigo, and I wasn't here, I had stepped out, so I didn't. Got new chairs. New chairs.
A couple of years ago.
Couple of years.
I was saving them for you were going to be here.
The first time I'm speaking, it's my humble apology. I'm going tonight with
That's too hard. It's a sale day for everybody.
And they do look good.
let's go. First, discussion in closed session. Was there any action taken? And on a happy note, the junior varsity Roselle Park beat South Huntington 14-0.
Good job.
Okay, and a very important thing, if I may, November 4th is election day. Municipal mayor, council at large, and first board, and the Board of Education. I don't know if people know that they can vote Tuesday, this coming election. It's going to be municipal and Board of Ed for 3 months. And thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Good evening, Jimmy Goodis, 152 Berwick Street. I have a couple things that they kind of correlate. My takeaway from the Board of Education candidates night the other night, which I really appreciate, but my biggest takeaway from it was the negative information that is out there about our high school. I know that we have formed a committee to try to reach our goals, a committee of what we want to do. I'm thinking we should form a committee to kind of sell ourselves, almost like a marketing committee. Because when I heard the one mother stand up and say, oh, not even half the kids that graduated went to college, that's a misnomer. It's not true. And it's not fair because parents think that. I'm trying at the middle school to try to convince people you have to go see these schools, you gotta go see all the schools, see all your options. But I don't think it's working. I think we need something more, something where it's a formed committee and there's actually a report given and we make people realize what's available to them. On the other side of that, the SciTech kids came down to the middle school last week and spoke about the SciTech program. It was wonderful. It is a great option for the kids. But they really put down the magnet schools, told them don't go there, they're not going to get the same talking to kids, I understand. I think if we built up our program, we wouldn't need to knock down the guest program. So I think if we put it out there that this is available at the high school, this is what's happening there. It's not half the kids aren't going to college. It's not, oh, they're all going to Union County. We need to get it out there. I, for one, would be more than willing to join that kind of committee, but I think it's something we need to look into. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gleason. And that is a really good point, Ms. Gleason, and it plays right into one of our board goals of improving our communication. I mean, we've gotten a lot better than in the past, but we still have ways to go. But having input like from you and other concerned parents and other citizens in our community is very effective. And Mr. Garrido, I mean, he's also working on other media outlets and getting the word out as well. And we also have Facebook with our technology chair, Mr. Vita. And so we're improving our avenues to get the information out. But I agree with you. And also delivering, and just speaking positively about the high school, what we have to offer. Don't worry about the competition, because what we have to offer is a lot of wonderful things. Yeah, absolutely.
They actually offer a brochure on the high school. Do we still do that to parents? I think it's not
We can communicate more on verbal. We can a piece of paper that somebody's going to throw in on honestly, and it's just wasted.
Right.
District money.
But I'm working on one, and I think as Mr. John said, we'll put it up on the website, we'll try to advertise it in different ways.
Mr. President, that particular parent used 2008, which was shocking that they would use 2008 as a guide to say what it is, and in fact, as we stated that night, that in 2013, we had 95%. In 2000, in 2004, 2013, 2012, 95 was 89 or 90% in 2013. So from 2008, and again, with the principle that we have in place there, that's taken our school from, as you can see, from 2008, where I don't even know what the numbers were, but where we are right now, to 95 and 90% of our students going on to education, and not just going to Union College.
But I think that's the information that's actually out there. That's what people are feeling.
Well, you're right, and again, as the President said, we do have a goal to get this communications out there, not knocking the magnet school, as Chris said, to let the people know about what we have here. There are ways we're going to do it, and I think this marquee that we're trying to get in there, it's a start, the communications. It's just a start that people can drive by and see it. The people who don't come to the meetings or PTA or PTO meetings, they'll see this thing in here. So I think we're starting on it. I think we have a grasp of what we need to do, and we just have to start implementing what our goal is to get out.
I actually think it's just the Roselle Park apathy. I don't think it's just Board of Ed. I think it happens in our town too. Nobody looks.
And a lot of things. They'll say, how come we never sent anything out? Well, yeah, it was all over town.
So, Mr. President,
Yes, sure.
what I did hear from Mrs. Goodis was something there that I know I spoke to the board about last year specifically at this time, is, communication can always be better. In life, everybody can be better communicating. When it comes to, though, comparing ourselves or trying to sell our school system versus other school systems, whether it's the magnet school or parochial schools, what I found disturbing with what was just said is that we had to do it at the expense of something else. We should be proud enough about our schools to be able to sell our schools on our merits, similar to what the President said, that we shouldn't have to be talking negatively about any other schools. So whether it was students talking to students or faculty talking to students, I would expect that that's not the message that is being brought forward and sponsored. And when that is done, even inside our buildings, we correct that message. And just take that high road and sell our schools and our system on its own merits, and then let it stand on its own merits, not at the expense of anything else, because that's where the rhetoric starts.
Agreed, Mr. But just to have the fact that people are going down into the middle school and spreading the word. Okay, there may be a few bumps in the road, but that's through communication, we're gonna smooth that out and get the message unified and the tack that we take, so, but just, yeah, it's a start.
They've done that, historically, they do that every year.
Okay,
So, so just so, it's nothing new, so
Right.
maybe, and it's working,
right.
but maybe we need to revamp, and I think that's, what,
Sure.
another point there is that we need to maybe look at the different avenues as well,
Sure.
because that's already been established.
Good. Anyone else? Seeing there is no one else, I'm going to ask someone to make a motion to adjourn the
So
meeting.
moved.
Mr. Harms, second. Mr. Curtin, and we will see you next at the Aldean School Auditorium on November 4th, Election Day. Right, Jake? Have a good evening, everybody.
If anyone wants to join us, we'll be down in the media center.